Yesterday, the Sunday Nation had a screaming headline edged out with a huge photo of the deputy president William Samoei Ruto. That headline was informed by the events of this past week. And for those who've been following the politics in this country, this past week has been one of the worst weeks, politically speaking, for the allies of the deputy president William Samoei Ruto and even to deputy president himself. Because from all indications, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies are taking charge or are trying to take control of Jubilee Party. So today I want us to look at how a tactical Uhuru Kenyatta has successfully managed to make the deputy president appear as an outsider in Jubilee Party. Because for a very long time, most Kenyans had always believed that the deputy president was fully in charge of Jubilee Party. But the events of this past week is telling a different story. Now let us begin from where it all began. Earlier this week, the registrar of political party issued a gazette notice. In that gazette notice, the Jubilee Party was trying to change or to replace names of the members of the National Management Committee. And that raised a lot of questions because allies of the deputy president and the deputy president himself was not aware of those changes. And this is how the deputy president responded. Let me just read for you so that you can understand where we are coming from. When that gazette notice came up, the allies of the deputy president started writing protest letters to the registrar of political parties. And this is what the deputy president wrote on his Twitter handle. As Kenyans are focused on COVID-19 pandemic, some shadowy characters are attempting to fraudulently institute illegal changes in officials of Jubilee Party. I want you to underline, attempting to fraudulently institute illegal. Fraudulently, he made it in headline, in a capital, and illegal also in capital, changes in officials of Jubilee Party. As deputy party leader, I have alerted the registrar of the fraud. Party members should know that the matter is being handled. So, which means the changes which were being effected, the deputy president was not aware. That confirms one fact, that the DP is not in control of Jubilee Party. And again, when this headline came up, the headline you are seeing here, edged out, the DP also responded to that headline. And this is what the DP said of that headline. The president and party leader of Jubilee did not and cannot be party to any fraudulent and illegal changes to officials of our party. So the DP is already exonerating the president from all those acts. Remember, there is no way Rafael Tuju can act or can effect changes in Jubilee Party without express permission from the president. And this is where the DP has been going wrong. Instead of facing off with the president on these particular cases, he's always either hiding behind Raila Odinga or some other characters. And he's continuing, this is the works of political rejects, conmen, fraudsters whose party allegiance is already elsewhere. They should give us a break and leave Jubilee alone. Now this is now addressing Jubilee members to leave Jubilee alone. He used to address Raila Odinga to leave Jubilee alone. But how did Uhuru Kenyatta manage to strategically and cleverly make the deputy president appear as an outsider in Jubilee Party? Because if you ask me personally, I always believed that the DP was fully in charge of Jubilee Party, save for the Secretary General and Murathe. And Murathe, of course, he forced Murathe out of the party. But Murathe did not resign, and Murathe is now back into the party. I still don't know the game plan of President Uhuru Kenyatta. But how did he manage? Because let's agree, whether you support the DP or whether you don't support the DP, let's agree. Today in Jubilee, the DP is appearing as an outsider. Let me just read for you the one headline. This is Murathe addressing the DP. Murathe is telling the DP, shut up, shape up, or ship out. We are tired. That's a close confidant of the president. And I was also reading somewhere, minor commander also said something. DP got half of government in 2013 and demanded 10 million to fold up URP. He should be the last one to complain over changes of domestic officials in Jubilee party. He's just a member in the party and not a shareholder. So, and politics, you know guys, politics is about perception. The mere perception that the DP is no longer in full control of Jubilee party is a reason enough which should worry the deputy president. But how did the president successfully manage it to make the DP appear as an outsider in Jubilee party? In my view, I have reviewed these things and I've come to several conclusions. The first strategy he used was to create fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. We all know that officials of Jubilee party are not elected members, beginning from the chairman to the last person. Let's take, for example, Raphael Tuju. Assuming Jubilee elections were to be held today, do you think Raphael Tuju will retain that position? I don't think so. So Tuju's main fear is, where will he go if elections were to be held in Jubilee party? And that, I'm sure, is what is affecting most people. People like David Murathe are asking themselves, where will they go if they are kicked out of Jubilee party? And that's why he's making a comeback. And that applies to several others, especially the original members of TNA party. They are asking themselves, where will they go? What is their position in case an elections will be conducted, or in case William Ruto takes over the control of the party? And on the other side, he's also creating a fear amongst the allies of the deputy president. Today, I'm sure that allies of the DP are so much worried about their, especially the ones from central Kenya and even Rift Valley. What will happen if Raphael Tuju will still be the Secretary General? Will he favor their opponents? People like Ndindi Nyoro, Alice Wahome, Moses Korea, Susan Kihika, people like Omanga are worried. So Uhuru Kenyatta managed to create that fear of the unknown within Jubilee party. And that's why since 2017, since that we had the elections up to now, the two factions are fighting left, right, and center. In fact, today, Jubilee party has two strong factions, the Kieleweke and Tangatanga. Their worry is which side will be favored if elections were going to be held. So Uhuru has succeeded in creating that fear. The second thing Uhuru has done is what I can call the Kikuyu vote factor. Uhuru Kenyatta knows so well that for the deputy president to win the presidency in 2022, the DP must get the Kikuyu votes fully. He must do that. Because politics is about perception. The perception which was created through the narrative by Mutahi Ngunyi of tyranny of numbers will have to apply. And the DP is also aware that for his bid to be taken seriously, he needs the Kikuyu votes. And because he needs the Kikuyu votes, he must not be seen to be antagonizing President Uhuru Kenyatta. Because the assumption is, as things stand today, the DP might be popular amongst Kikuyu elected leaders. He might be popular amongst the elected leaders, amongst the grassroots there. But when real elections are now called, and the DP is not getting the support of President Uhuru Kenyatta, how will that affect him? I think that's something he has created. So the allies of the DP personally, now depends on Uhuru Kenyatta. He doesn't want to be seen at any given point to antagonize the president. And that's why, even when the president engineers changes like the one he did, the DP is always the first person to defend the president. He calls him fraudulent, then again he becomes the first person again to defend him. So the president has succeeded in creating that, the narrative that is the Kikuyu votes. And for you to become the president, you need the Kikuyu votes. And I have the lock and the key to those Kikuyu votes. So that's the biggest challenge the DP has, the DP has. And that's why he can't confront the president. And because of that, the president is still taking control of Jubilee Party. Without that, I'm sure the DP would have even left. Number 3, the third strategy, which the president has used successfully, is dangling the carrot or government appointments. If you look at Jubilee Party, officials are not government employees. These are people who are officials of the party. Jubilee rules is coming to an end. So the president has been giving some of these officials appointments. And these appointments are targeted at the allies of the deputy president. That's why the 3 people who left were allies of the DP. So they were given government appointments. And they had to make a choice of either remaining as officials of the party or taking up government appointments. So they opted for government appointments. And that's how the president has successfully managed to make the DP an outsider. Because assuming the 3 didn't go, we wouldn't be having this issue today. If the 3 didn't go, the DP would still have members loyal to him in that management committee. But the 3 were given appointments. So strategically, that has forced him to go. Number 4 is focus on party officials. Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto entered into an agreement, an alliance. Ruto came with his party called URP. Uhuru came with his party called TNA. So they merged. So after merging, and I remember there's a post I made in 2016, and in that post I pointed out that the DP was being shortchanged already. Because in 2016, when they called for the delegates conference, the URP of delegates were locked out. So the president had actually started focusing on taking control of the party, but the DP did not realize that. So when the president was focusing on the party, the DP was focusing more on elected officials. So during the party, when they merged, the DP was focused on how many number of members of parliament he's going to bring on his side. How many MCs, how many governors, how many senators. While he was doing that, Uhuru was just quiet because Uhuru knew so well that even akileta nani, so still, those will still be Jubilee members of parliament. So Uhuru, in his own wisdom, now focused on party. So he brought Tuju on board. He brought his close allies, David Murabe, and the other officials in Jubilee Party. So these are allies of the president, majority of them taking charge of Jubilee Party. So that's why it's now easier for these people to make life very difficult for the deputy president. And indeed, the life is very difficult for the deputy president in Jubilee Party. And lastly, I think the president has also managed to use what is called divide and rule in Jubilee Party. That tactic, and it's working for him. He's ensured that if you're allied to the president, you are allied to the president. If you're allied to the DP, you are allied to the DP. And he extended that even to the party. So the officials of the party had to make a choice. Are you going to align yourself with the president, who has the state power, or are you going to align yourself to the DP, who is losing state favor? So most of these people automatically opted to align themselves to President Uhuru Kenyatta. But I'm sure if elections were to be held today, a lot of those things are going to change. Because number one, the DP is running for the presidency in 2022. Uhuru will not be running. So the DP is going to ensure that it takes full charge of the party and he will follow it very keenly. Very keenly. So because the DP will be running, he's going to ensure that he takes charge. Number two, Uhuru will not be running. So Uhuru, since he will not be running, he might not have serious interest the way he did before when he was running. So in my view, that's how President Uhuru Kenyatta has successfully managed to make William Samoei Ruto appear as an outsider in Jubilee Party. And because politics all over is about perception, the perception outside there is that Jubilee Party has its owners. And the owners are already now taking it back. And the owner of Jubilee Party is President Uhuru Kenyatta. Just like ODM is owned by Raila Odinga, Wiper is owned by Kalonzo Musyoka, ANC is owned by Musalia Mudavadi. I don't know what you think, but in my view, those are the strategies which President Uhuru Kenyatta has used to make Ruto appear as an outsider in a party where he had thought all along that he was sitting on the driver's seat. I don't know what you think. And if you're watching this video for the first time, I want to just take a second and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this one, you automatically get notified. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys. You just don't know how I value you guys. You encourage me. Like, for me to decide now to start doing some of these videos at the heart of this crisis we have in the country, it's because a lot of you guys were requesting me to analyze for them what was happening, especially when these issues of Jubilee Party started coming up. And just like I promised, I'm going to ensure that I'll follow each and every event happening in Jubilee Party, and I will bring all of them to you here without fear, favor, or any contradictions. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.